We are here in a city that has had a lot of history dating back to the War of 1812. Hey everyone, Scott, and welcome to Amherstburg, Ontario. It's a beautiful morning here, and we're going to explore the city of Amherstburg today. And actually right here we actually have a beautiful mural. I'll go and get on this side of the camera so I can get a better view of it. But yeah, this is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm like northeast of Toddy Jones Park, and then but southeast of Fort Malden. At the end of the video, we're actually going to go to Fort Malden. It's actually not open right now, so we'll have to come back again at the end of the video. But yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. I think according to my car, it's around like 17 degrees Celsius, which is about like the low 60s Fahrenheit. So it's beautiful out today. We actually had a cold front come through yesterday. But yeah, Amherstburg has been around for quite a long time because it dated back to the times of the War of 1812. Because you have Fort Malden over there. Actually, during the War of 1812, it was actually Fort Amherstburg. And in this area actually was also a trading post, mostly for fur, and also even there's even like a shipyard. We actually will go over to the Navy Yard Park in a little bit. Okay, so let's go out and explore here. And we're currently walking through Toddy Jones Park, and got a huge play area for the kids. And pan over here, we got a bunch of picnic tables over there where we can have a picnic. And a day like today, it's like, why not? Yeah, nice breeze out too, so it feels really, really nice out today. I gotta say, this is the best fire hydrant I've ever seen. This is pretty cute. And we've made it into the main part of downtown. Well, technically it's just right over there, but we're gonna do a little walk along the river over here. Over there technically. So let's head on over. Just before we go onto the riverfront trail, we have the oldest house here in Amherstburg. This actually was not built here. It actually was built over in Detroit. Well, technically over by the River Rouge. But in 1798, they actually moved this house here to Amherstburg, and then eventually, yeah, they had it moved over here in 1972. But you can actually go inside. However, between like September and June is open only weekdays, and then in July and August, it's actually open 7 days a week, but so not going to get a chance to go inside today, unfortunately. But still, actually, I'll get on this side again. Yep, very cool though. Anyway, you got the pensioners' cottage over here, and behind the squirrel, we have the commissariat office. That actually was built back in 1831, and actually managed Fort Malden's finances, which we're actually not terribly far from Fort Malden. It's just a little bit to the north of here. And got a couple cannon displays right in front, so how about that? Take a look at this. We have a beautiful monument here. It's a dedication to the soldiers who fought in the Battle of Lake Erie back in September 10th, 1813. And also it can be a monument too for the soldiers who fought on the British side during the War of 1812. And we have the Detroit River right behind us. Actually, I'll go down and get on the other side. But yeah, the Detroit River connects Lake St. Clair with Lake Erie, and you can actually look all the way out there to Lake Erie. And then yep, right over there we have Bois Blanc Island, or more popularly known as Boblo Island. And as you can tell, Boblo Island hosts a lot of private residences. You can actually get over there by a ferry, and a very long time ago, there used to be an amusement park on the island. And matter of fact, when I was like 2 or 3 years old, I remember my family and I actually went over there to the amusement park. But the amusement park's been closed for quite a long time though, but that doesn't mean you still can't check out Lowe Island though. And then all the way out over there is the American side of the Detroit River. We actually have gross seal all the way over there. But yeah, right now we're in the King's Navy Yard. This is back since like the very late 1790s, excuse me. And they actually constructed a lot of ships in here, with it being obviously with being a Navy yard, and even constructed ships for the British for the War of 1812. As you can probably tell, there's a theme going along with this video. Oh yeah, there's the Lowe Ferry right now. It's carrying some cars over to the mainland. For over 200 years, Canada and the United States have shared 2 centuries of peace, and also the longest undefended border. And as a token, we have this sculpture right here. It's called the Forged Peace, and it's a dedication to the 200 years of peace and counting between the United States and Canada. On our way into downtown Amherstburg, and we have a beautiful hosta garden. I actually put this in here about 7 years ago. And we have made it here to the beautiful historic Amherstburg, or at least the main town. We got the Gordon House right there. Actually, we'll cross over and we'll get a better view. And then right over there, we actually, although the building was built in 1849, that's actually where an English pub actually is, Lord Amherst. Hurry up and cross before I get run over. And then, yeah, here's a better view of the Gordon House. But yeah, this is very beautiful downtown. And now we're here along Sandwich, and this is the main road which goes through Amherstburg. Take this north, and it'll take you back up toward Windsor, or you can take it south and east over to Leamington. Oh, here's the public library. Pretty cool. Alright, Fort Malden should be opening up, so we're going to conclude the video over at Fort Malden. And we've made it here to Fort Malden, and we're going to check out the grounds here before we close off the video. And yeah, the admission's actually pretty cheap. It was only for an adult like me, it was only $3.90. And came here at a good time because they're only open for another couple more weeks. Yeah, right over here we have the Pensioners Cottage, actually built back in the early 1850s. It actually housed a retired soldier in here. And we have the Detroit River again, and that's the northern tip of Lowe Island, and you got gross seal. And then if you look all the way over there, you can actually see the power plant that's near Trenton, Michigan. Although this was a military post back during the War of 1812, as well as during the rebellions back in the late 1830s, about 100 meters north of here, there actually used to be an Indian council house where actually were meetings between the British and the First Nations, including Chief Tecumseh. If you watch some of my videos in Southeast Michigan, especially like in Lenawee and Monroe counties, actually have made mentions about Chief Tecumseh, and actually there's even cities on both sides of the Detroit River that's called Tecumseh. There's a Tecumseh in Lenawee County, Michigan, and a Tecumseh that's near Windsor. And right over there we have the museum that actually was built back in 1861. It actually used to be a laundry and baking facility, and basically after the asylum was closed, then it became a planing mill and then a private residence. However, since 1946, it's now the museum, and that's also where we go into the paid portion of the park. You can actually walk in the grounds outside of the fenced area over there for free, but to go in, you actually have to show your receipt that you paid inside the visitor center. If you look at the raised ground over there, that's actually American. Because between 1813, well, October 1813 and December 1814, this actually was captured by the Americans back when it was still known as Fort Amherstburg. And then after the war was over, this was pretty much all the land was given back over to Britain, and eventually the original Fort Amherstburg actually got replaced by Fort Malden, which is what we see today. Although most of the buildings are gone, but as you can tell, we still have a few remnants today. Inside the museum, actually they have different exhibits for the War of 1812 on the bottom floor, and then Fort Malden after the war on the second floor. And then, yeah, as I was saying earlier, most of the buildings of Fort Malden are no longer here, such as this brick officer's guard room and staff sergeant's quarters back from 1839. But they have the bricks laid down to basically show where the buildings once stood. But yeah, a little fun fact, that museum actually was closed, I believe, a couple years ago for renovation, because I actually came here with my grandmother a couple years ago, and I remember we had actually entered through the fence over there. We couldn't go through the museum, which is how you normally come through. Actually, just so inside the barracks over there actually is the oldest building that's still standing here today, and it actually used to house soldiers and even some of their families as well. They had like about 32 beds in there, and there's all their cleaning up in there as well. And then, yeah, come over here. This was actually back from 1840, and this is the privy. So this is a long time before they had the washrooms you see today, or bathrooms. And back in 1820, they actually had the brick cookhouse here. So they basically would have done their meals for the people who were staying in the barracks, and then, yeah, this was built a year later. And last but not least, right here, actually there was another barracks that stood right along in here. This would have been built after, though, the barracks over there. Oh yeah, you can get a better view of the barracks right over there. But this would have been built back in 1839, and it was a wooden frame barrack, and actually it was meant to house about 400 soldiers, and then it survived until the early 1900s. And then if we do this circle, we're back to the museum, and anyway, I'm going to head back outside the park, and I'll head over to the front of the visitor center, and we'll conclude the video. Yep. That's America out there, my friends. And we made it back to the visitor center, and technically at the rear of the visitor center. But yeah, also a very beautiful building back from 1939, and yeah, obviously I'm looking at the camera, but I'm also looking out at the Detroit River over there too. But yeah, Amherstburg has a lot to offer, with it being one of the oldest towns in Ontario. Amherstburg has a beautiful downtown area, a beautiful riverwalk with a lot of cool sights and points of interest over in the King's Navy Yard. And also here at Fort Malden, which back during the War of 1812 was known as Fort Amherstburg. And you can check out the fort for yourself and learn all about the great history about Fort Malden. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely give this video a like or a thumbs up. For more Sky 995 travel videos, definitely click that subscribe button. At the end of every video, I have links to my Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Well, thank you for watching today's video here in Amherstburg, Ontario, and this is Scott signing out.